Child labor. Arrest him.
But seriously, I mean, something would have motivated them to come together. Is he the official motivator? He was very motivated.
I know. Krishan is the official motivator. So at like 2 o'clock in the morning, and everyone's sleepy, and Krishan's the guy saying, oh, guys, 2 more feet to go, and we've been saying that for the last 2 days. But you know, it's difficult, but we got it done. The thing that motivated these guys was everyone is the fact that we're actually attempting something that's never been done before, and the whole idea of actually being able to do something like that just kept everyone going. You should have seen the energy at like 3 o'clock in the morning.
Wow.
But there were uneasy times.
Yeah.
Wait, so let me get straight. How many days did it take to like put the
9? You said 9.
Yeah. We actually planned for 5, and then it went overboard.
So was it like every other day, or is it just
No. It was like
one stretch.
One stretch.
And this was the month of December, mind you.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is dedication right there.
So we were working on a parking lot, and then we lived in that parking lot. Like one of our like favorite things to do was find out which spot is the best place to nap in the parking lot, because we were like we lived there for like 9 days.
So you have like one specific person. Oh, this is a soft concrete spot.
So basically, the pile of paper was the most
comfortable.
used.
And then
Wow, it's amazing. So, didn't some of these? I mean, you said you got 90 people working on this. So, wasn't there a portion of them who just came up to you and looked at everything and thought you guys are just a bunch of crazy lunatics and went off?
there were a couple.
They didn't go off. They somehow build their spirits, you know.
Oh, the motivators.
We should actually just have him on the show like every day, just like, good morning, Sri Lanka.
Yeah, we're gonna call you for a screen test for the show.
Yeah,
Krishan. It's gonna take over Good Morning Sri Lanka.
Well, I try and take your part of it.
Actually, Krishan, tell us a little bit about yourself. I mean, you're 20 years old. What do you do?
Well, I study at St. Thomas's College, and presently I'm doing a business management degree at ICBT in the branch in Nugegoda. And yeah, pretty involved with lots of other stuff like the P413 mob and also church and all kinds of other youth movements.
How did you get involved in the mob?
I was dragged by this other friend, not really dragged, but this other friend of mine who was also in school with me. He was also a part of this the student Christian movement, which I was a part of, and he was like, "Come, this guy is doing really cool stuff. Let's get involved and let's see what he does."
So
and
the motivator got motivated.
Yeah. So we dragged him in 2011, and then he stuck with us.
Oh, and now you can't get rid of him?
Let's put it that way. He's now a permanent member of the mob.
Awesome. All right. Unfortunately, we're running out of time with you boys.
Cool.
But if people wanted to check out what you guys do, how could we look you up?
Okay. So probably the best way is to get on Facebook and
P413. Wait. P413 mob. Just look for that.
No, probably look for
Keywords?
our names, because we haven't opened the P413 page yet. Like say Niruban or Krishan.
Oh, so they're an underground. Mob. They're underground.
So underground that the underground is
so underground that they're not even on social media.
or on Instagram. Instagram's probably where we post all our for some reason on Instagram. So P413 on Instagram.
Awesome. Well, gentlemen, it's been such a pleasure having you on the show.
Thank you.
And we wish you the best of luck with P413. Wow.
Yeah, great stuff. You guys have been doing great stuff, and we wish you all the very best. Keep doing some good stuff and come back on the show with more creativity.
Thanks.
Thank you so much.
We're going to a quick commercial break. Also, visit our Facebook page on www.facebook.com/Good Morning Sri Lanka. Click the like button and stand a chance to win merchandise by MTV. We'll be right back after this commercial break. Good morning Sri Lanka. Welcome back. In case you just tuned in, we just had a couple of really cool artists on the show. And now we're just linking it into Colombo Art Biennale, which is happening it's just around the corner.
Which the two artists are taking part for as well.
Exactly. And just in case you've never heard of what this is all about, this happened like twice. Remember like you and I were talking about it? Well, this happened twice already. They had the first edition, which was Imagining Peace, and the second one, which was Becoming. Guess what this one's going to be called?
Why don't we ask our guests, Jason?
We can do that.
Well, to introduce our guests, we've got the founding director of the Colombo Art Biennale, who's Anushka Hempo. Good morning, and thank you very much for being with us on this lovely Thursday morning.
Good morning. Thank you very much for having us.
And we've also got Gihan Karuna Ratna with us, who will also be taking part in this event.
Who is an architect by profession.
Who is an architect by profession. Gihan is dressed very well for us this morning.
about that.
He looks like a very distinguished artist. Very pleased to have you here, Gihan. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for inviting me.
Anyway, Anushka, now we were just talking about what the third Art Biennale, what its theme is. So if you could tell our viewers.
Yes, and Jason very smartly picked up on the narrative of the themes from one to another. So the first one was Imagining Peace. Then that was in 2009, which, by the way, we came up with a theme in February 2009, and then Biennale happened in September 2009. So that May occurrence was kind of interesting, unexpected, and gave a whole new momentum to the event. And then 2012 we had Becoming, which is was quite a provocative theme. And now in 2014 we've gone for something even more ambitious, which is Making History.
Whoa.
Yeah.
And it's going to start here on Good Morning Sri Lanka.
All right, just to put a break on the pedals here. Like, what is Colombo Art Biennale all about? Just for the people at home that don't know about it.
Colombo Art Biennale is a giant contemporary art happening. It's like a festival. Runs over a period of time. Ours lasts for 10 days this year. And it's really about, it was started in order to create a platform to show Sri Lankan talent, both within Sri Lanka and internationally. Initially, first within Sri Lanka, to show what artists could do beyond creating small paintings and sculptures that could be easily sold. Just giving the artists the opportunity to create large works under a given theme, where they could really work in an expansive and exciting way and show it. So I think the Colombo Art Biennale was one of the first times that this kind of work was showcased to a large audience. So we're continuing that, and the second Art Biennale became international. We brought in international curators, international artists, and so for this one we're continuing with that. But we're also taking it further and making the Biennale even more interactive. So in lots of different ways, including something kind of exciting called a live art segment, and by which you'll see, but also by introducing artists who are not necessarily from a visual art background. So Gihan here is one of those artists that we're really delighted to have on board with us.
Right. So again, now you're an architect. I'm guessing your art has something to do with architecture.
Something like that. How can I explain it? I think the best way to explain my work is when you draw a plan. You know what architectural plan is. When you draw a plan, imagine if you draw a plan of this studio. It will show you thickness of the walls, where the window is, where the door is. But it doesn't explain you what you're thinking at present. What's the temperature of the room? You know, these kind of thing. You know, it's very, one could call clinical drawing. So my art or my maps, in a way, like almost question these kind of things. So, like for example, there's 10 maps in the exhibition, and then one video map. This map sort of tells you like political things, personal things, emotional things. You know, when you see a map, say, what's the best way to describe it? Like, you've been to the studio many times. You have your own map. You know, I'm interested in that. First time when you came to the studio, someone probably have to come and show you, this is how you enter the space, kind of thing. Now you probably take shortcuts. Maybe you take long routes to talk to people, kind of thing. So I'm looking at that kind of elements. I'm looking at very boring technical drawings or boring maps, which, you know, I'm interested in what's not shown in the map.
Right.
kind of thing.
Oh, wow.
So basically, you want to take what you're doing right now, you take it further, and bring some how do I say, character into it, bring some flair into it. How do you explain?
I mean,
it?
there's a piece there, when the iPhone was introduced. What's happened was, within the iPhone itself, it tracks you where you've been. So every second, every minute, it tracks you. Even when you turn your mobile off, there's a file just track you. So I try to download that my own map. So for 1 year, it tells me where I've been. So every time I say, for example, if I from this studio, if I go somewhere in central Colombo, so every time you pass a mobile post, it shows you on the GPS. So now it doesn't happen on the iPhone now, kind of thing, of course. But you can talk about the wider things, what's happening in the world, like CIA, the British government, Edward Snowden, WikiLeaks, is it your personal information or private, private or public, these kind of things you can question, kind of thing. So this is, in a sense, what I'm having what I'm looking at.
Right. So your
pretty
artwork
deep
is
stuff.
not, it's not only just on canvas or paper, but you're also having digital art, if I'm correct.
Digital art thing,
Wow.
yeah. It has it's a I think a 30-second video on a loop showing my because you carry the phone all the time.
Yeah.
So the whole 1 year it shows like where I've been in because I was living in London. For the whole year it shows like a fast forward video of myself, kind of thing. How I traveled.
Right, so a time lapse of your travels around. That's amazing. Wow, that sounds so interesting.
Well, it's also a very new kind of
new age.
I've never really ever imagined something like this being linked to art.
I mean, art can be anything.
Exactly, it is like a really new way of looking at it.
Yeah,
which is great.
It's almost questioning, what's happening now in a way, kind of thing.
So and that's exactly what the Colombo Art Biennale is doing. It's redefining what is art and not limiting it. It's inviting artists to work in an expansive way. So bringing in artists like Gihan is very, very interesting. In fact, there was one work that you did, which I was particularly fascinated. Well, a couple of works, but the one where you mapped the movement of police in the UK moving in on some protesters, right? And it turned it into an artwork, and I thought that's so incredible. It's so interesting, creating something, a happening, into an artwork. Or another piece that Gihan did in a prison, and mapping the movements of the inmates. And creating that into an artwork. So this is kind of what we're encouraging in what we're doing with the Colombo Art Biennale. Is interesting stuff beyond what we've all seen. It's a different form of expression. Art is expression. So we're really
almost like an abstract, lateral thinking kind of thing. You don't have to be like an expert in art. It's better if you're not, in a way, kind of thing. I would say bring your kids along and ask the kids to explain it, kind of thing. So let your imagination go wild, kind of thing. That's what I would
because
say art is about.
From all of us, I think kids have the most amount of imagination anyway.
They're less corrupted.
Yes.
We are not corrupted.
Well, as you can see, Jason was the first to respond to that, so now we know.
Totally defend ourselves, man.
Well, as you said, even this is the third time you're having this event. Now, 2009, 2012, 2014, well, obviously it's not been annual, it's not been consistent. But at the same time, are you hoping to continue this?
Biennale is Italian for biannual.
Okay.
So it happens every 2 years.
Okay.
And the first one happened very quickly, very spontaneously, very haphazardly almost. And
but it's still not consistent.
Yes, 2009 we needed a bit longer, so it wasn't enough to go. We didn't have enough time to prepare for exactly. So we wanted to do it in February. So we went from so we jumped. So we went from 2009 to February 2012, and now February 2014. So the next one will be in February 2016.
Okay. So it's definitely going to happen.
Oh yeah, it's becoming a national event now. So yes,
great.
Absolutely.
I want to ask you something a little more personal, Anushka. What made you come up with this entire idea? What made you want to do this?
It certainly did not start off as such an ambitious idea. It started off with my co-founder and I, Jagath Veer Singh, over a glass of wine saying, let's just do something